Huh? The live view? It's live. It's live. Yeah. Hey, hey, it's Jordan with Status Coup. Right behind me is the stage in Staten Island where Bernie Sanders and AOC will be speaking shortly. You can't see it because there's a fence, but right behind there is another Amazon warehouse that has a union election starting tomorrow, LDJ5, JFK8, which is the massive warehouse over there, which has nearly 8,000 workers. They obviously had a historic victory a few weeks ago. We were on the ground covering it for a year before they won, and now they have the second union election coming up starting tomorrow. At LDJ5, which is a smaller warehouse, about 1,500 workers. So very, very important. That's why Bernie and AOC are out here today, which is obviously to kind of rally the troops and hopefully sway workers that are voting tomorrow in that warehouse. If they're on the fence or right now they're a no, maybe sway some folks to vote yes. If they are successful and win this election, that would be 2 for 2. That would create a real tidal wave of momentum. As Christian Smalls has already spoken about, after their first victory, they already have over 100 warehouses that have around the country that have reached out with interest and desire to file for a union. So obviously, you've seen what's going on with Starbucks. They had the first victory in Buffalo, which we covered there. And then since then, it's been, I believe there are over 200 warehouses that have filed for a union. And now they're in the teens of warehouses that have actually successfully unionized. So hopefully we see the same thing here. We'll be airing this live. Again, Bernie Sanders and AOC. Before here, they met with some of the Amazon labor union organizers privately. So they're going to be speaking here in a little while. Smash the like button, thumbs up right under the live stream. Share this live stream so we can get it out to more people. I'll also be interviewing folks after Bernie and AOC speak. And yeah, that's it. So I'm going to get out of the frame, share it, like it, all those good things. And most importantly, I think, obviously there's a lot of people kind of down on electoral politics right now. This is a labor movement thing. They did this. They won at that massive warehouse, basically with no political help at all. So if you are into things outside of electoral politics, you should be watching this. You should be supporting this. Because let me tell you something. The Amazon, they are doing everything possible after that. The main warehouse won to union bust over here and to stop this warehouse from voting yes. They know how important it is basically to get a no vote for this second warehouse. Because if you get a no vote and they lose over here, then Amazon and the media, frankly, can spin it. Oh, well, the first one, that was a fluke, but they lost over here. They lost in Alabama, blah, 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 blah. So this second election is very, very important. That's why we're here. So smash the like button, share this live stream. Super chats are welcome, and we'll be interviewing people after.
Let them know it's gonna go quiet for a second until the thing starts because they haven't started feeding.
Yeah. By the way, the feed will be quiet for a few minutes until Bernie and AOC get here. So talks amongst yourselves, my peeps. Yeah, I think that second channel is maybe Twitch.
Say something on the mic.
1-2-1-2 5-4-5-4. 1-2-1-2 5-4-5-4. Oh, okay. Yeah, I figured take some questions, comments, concerns from the peeps before Bernard Sanders and AOC get here. I actually now see Christian Smalls arriving and other labor leaders with the Amazon Labor Union. So my assumption is Bernie and AOC aren't far behind. I saw somebody ask, so let me tell you, LDJ5 is the warehouse that has the union vote starting tomorrow. It's going to be a several-day vote, like the first warehouse. And LDJ5 is a smaller warehouse, about 1,500 workers, compared to JFK8, which already won, and that has nearly 8,000 workers. But the smaller warehouse of 1,500 workers, it actually has a lot of part-time workers, contract workers. So it's a little bit different than the main warehouse, which does have a lot of part-time workers. But this is a smaller warehouse, 1,500 workers, and there's been a whole lot of union busting going on there too, including from what sources told me has been Amazon managers threatening that if they vote yes, hours will be cut. Potential layoffs, all that. So Amazon has doubled down after this first victory at the JFK8 warehouse. Instead of kind of sending an olive branch, maybe offering workers a little more in terms of benefits, pay, safety, they've doubled down on the union busting. And actually, I quoted it because it was kind of funny. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy, he replaced Bezos, but Bezos is still, very much steering the wheel here. Amazon CEO Jassy said on CNBC, a place like Amazon empowers employees. If they see something they could do better for customers or for themselves, they could go meet in a room, decide how to change it, and change it. So that was his pitch for why Amazon workers shouldn't unionize, because apparently they already have the power and they already have the ability of empowerment to just go in a room and change things themselves. Obviously, if you've watched my coverage over the last year, that is not the case at all. Okay, we got Christian Smalls here, who's the president of Amazon Labor Union. Derek Palmer is here. He's the vice president. And, Christian gets all the headlines, and, for good reason. He's been busting his ass for over a year. Obviously, he sparked this thing. But there's a lot of unsung heroes that don't get the same media headlines, including Derek Palmer, who's the vice president of the Amazon Labor Union. And he has been out there working a full-time shift at Amazon, 10, 11 hours, and then right outside after his shift, organizing day after day after day. He was there at the barbecues on holidays, trying to speak with workers, get them to sign union cards. He was there in the rain. He was there in the heat. He was there in the cold, as were other organizers. So Derek deserves a lot of credit. And Derek was there also, get called into HR many times, basically retaliating against him for unionizing. He had union pamphlets that he was putting in the break rooms, confiscated by Amazon managers, which is actually a breach of labor law. And the National Labor Relations Board, to their credit, has really been siding with the workers here. Amazon Labor Union, for those of you that don't know, has filed at least 50 complaints with the NLRB over the last year for Amazon's blatant violations of labor law, confiscating union literature, threatening workers, retaliation against workers. Almost $5 million they've spent on union busting consultants, and I think that number's low. It's probably a lot more than that. That they flew in from around the country to come in here, pull workers aside for half-hour, 45-minute lectures on why they shouldn't vote for the union. One of those union busting consultants said to several workers that the Amazon Labor Union, Christian Smalls and those workers, are just a bunch of thugs. And I was told that by many workers, that's what was said. So obviously Amazon, contrary to their CEO talking about worker empowerment, has basically been threatening the workers to try and stop this union, the first union, from being victorious. And their response to the first union's victory has been to double down and triple down on the union busting. We'll see. I don't have, I'm not going to predict whether they'll win here at this second warehouse, but it certainly doesn't hurt having Bernie Sanders and AOC out here a day before the election. I'll also say a lot of the workers in both of these warehouses, the one that was already victorious and this one that's coming up tomorrow, LDJ5, they're young. I don't have like a poll, but a lot of them are young, I would say ranging from 18 to 25. They're not like diehard into politics like you and I, but they definitely know who AOC is, and most of them know who Bernie is too. So it definitely helps to have them out here. Obviously, there's been some criticism of AOC for not showing up before the first election, for canceling on them. That's fine. I criticized her too, but she's here today. Whatever you think the motivation is for her being here today, she's here. So you got to criticize, but you also should give credit where credit's due. She's here after a lot of shaming. And here's Bernie, so we're going to turn the camera around.
So I want to say thank you all for coming out here today on Solidarity Sunday. This very moment. Without these workers organizing, without this victory that we had on April 1st, without us spending the last year at this bus stop right over here, none of this will be possible. So we can't forget where we came from, how it started. This is a long journey that started 2 years ago for myself and others, 1 year ago for the ALU. But I'm so proud to be standing here with my brothers and sisters and my comrades and the community that's here to support. Without further ado, though, I want to bring up Senator Sanders from Vermont, who came here to stand in solidarity with these Amazon workers today. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you. It is a true honor for me to be here with you guys today. What you have done in taking on Amazon and having this facility here in Staten Island, the very first Amazon facility to unionize in the entire country, is an extraordinary achievement. You have taken on one of the most powerful corporations in America. They spent millions of dollars trying to defeat you. You are taking on one of the wealthiest guys in America, worth $170 billion, and you beat them. And I'll tell you what this struggle is about. It's not just Amazon Staten Island. This is the struggle that is taking place all across this country. Working people are sick and tired of falling further and further behind while billionaires like Bezos become much richer. Now, when you're worth $170 billion, as Bezos is, when you got a corporation that is making huge profits, you know what? You can pay your workers good wages, you can provide good benefits, and you can have decent working conditions, not what you got right now. So I want to tell you, you may not know this, but you have been an inspiration for millions of workers all across this country. Because they have looked at you and they have said, these guys in Staten Island, New York, stood up to an extraordinarily powerful corporation. If they could do it in Staten Island, we could do it throughout this country. And what this whole struggle is about is whether we continue to have an economy in which billionaires get much richer while the middle class shrinks, or whether we have an economy that works for all. So I say to Jeff Bezos, who owns a $500 million yacht, I say, Jeff, when you're out on your yacht, I want you to think about the workers in Staten Island and your employees all over this country. They don't want a $500 million yacht. They don't want a $23 million mansion that you have in Washington, D.C. What do they want? They want housing that is affordable. They want to be able to put away a few bucks to send their kids to college. They don't want to be exploited and continue this massive turnover that takes place here because of the horrible working conditions. So what you are doing here is sending a message to every worker in America that the time is now to stand up to our oligarchy, to stand up to this excessive corporate greed, and create an economy that works for all, not just the few. And I'm pleased to introduce to you a young woman who has revolutionized the United States Congress. She's doing an extraordinary job. Please welcome Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Thank you so much, Theo Bernie. Theo Bernie once, Theo Bernie always. Thank you, everybody. Let's just give a big shout out to the workers that did the damn thing out here at Amazon. What you all did, Chris and Derek and Justine and just so many of our organizers here we just met behind closed doors was incredible and remarkable. And they reminded the world that you don't need millions of dollars to stand up to multi-billion-dollar corporations. You just got to do the work. You just need solidarity. You need to show people that you give a damn about them, and they will come together and organize and demand better for their lives. And so what happened here, out here, right, that you guys did in Staten Island was just the beginning. It was the first domino to fall, the first one. And then we're going to have another election tomorrow, and we're going to support them in that, and then the day after that, and the day after that. All the way. But what we need Amazon to do first and foremost is to recognize the union that won their election fair and square. Amazon's out here. In Bessemer, they changed the street lights. In Bessemer, they mess with the post offices. They'll recognize that loss. But when these workers win fair and square, they refuse to recognize their victory. So first and foremost, Jeff Bezos, Amazon, everybody, we got to recognize the fact that that they did this thing and they won a union election fair and square. And we have the first unionized Amazon in America right here in New York City. And now what we need to do next is make sure that we support them. All of us as a city need to remember that New York City is a union town. And if you're going to do business out here in New York, you got to treat our people right. And so if you can go to space, you can give our workers a bathroom break. Ain't that right? If you can go to space, you can make sure that you're treating people well and giving them solid health care benefits. That they don't have a 3-hour commute to and from work. That they can afford the house that they can live in. That people don't have to be sleeping in their cars in order to work for Amazon. All of this is an indignity and an injustice, and it has no place in New York City. And we're going to change that, and right here our workers out here are going to change that. So New York, it's time to step up for our workers, because we're going to make sure that they go all the way. All the way. We've got their back. We've got their back. And if Amazon and Blue Origin wants $10 billion contracts, and if they want $100 million tax breaks from the state, well, they got to do their end of the deal too. All right? So we're out here to support them. We're out here to make sure that we've got our workers' backs because, again, New York City is a union town, and we're not going to stop until the United States of America is union made. So thank you all so much. And with that, I'm going to introduce one of our other major organizers behind this effort, Derek Palmer.
How you guys doing? ALU, ALU, ALU. Man, I couldn't be more proud of this moment right here. Starting this movement in the beginning, we didn't have the support that we do now, and now that we won, I'm just glad that everyone's finally waking up and realizing the power that we have as an organization, as people. And I think that's been lost throughout these years, and I'm glad that it's finally back. Shout out to Bernie Sanders, man. You're a legend, bro. Seriously. Shout out to AOC. Thank you. Thank you. Shout out to the community. We did this shit. Workers did this. Workers. So now we have to take this power and we got to take it to Jeff Bezos' office and we got to let him know that we mean business. We're not playing with y'all anymore. We've woken the country up, and I want us to continue on this journey, and I want us to win LDJ 5. LDJ 5 has been busting their ass, organizing day in and day out, and we need to support them. And also, we need to support all the Amazon facilities around the world who want to organize as well. Jeff Bezos, your time is coming, brother. Your time is coming. You hear me? The people have spoken, and it's time for us to whoop that ass in that election. It's over. Thank you.
And if we don't get it, 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 one more time, we don't get it. You damn right. Hold on. Let me talk my shit now. It's been a while. So number one, we got to win tomorrow, right? We're going to start this off a good week. Times two, we're going to give them another dub on their head. I'm tired of the rumors being spread about the ALU. Let me tell you this. This is an independent worker-led union that started with no money, 2 tables and 4 chairs over there last year. They tried to demonize me saying that I haven't been debtor against the company. You damn right, you fired me wrongfully. So March 30th, 2020. March 30th, 2020. March 30th, 2020. We left a mark right there at that fence. Me and Derek, Jason Anthony, Jordan Flowers, Gerald Bryson. My brother, I see you over there, bro. We left a mark right there. We said, we're not going to stand here during COVID, and we ain't going to accept these working conditions being deemed essential workers with no PPE, no facial masks, no cleaning supplies, nothing. From that moment forward, we never looked back. We said, you know what? If you're going to demonize us, of course we're going to take and fight to you. And we didn't. We didn't let up. We didn't quit. We didn't say, you know what? Let's just take a legal action and sue Amazon. We said we're going to travel the country. We're going to go to Jeff Bezos' mansions. We're going to go to his penthouses. We're going to go anywhere that's necessary to advocate for workers' rights. And then after Alabama, we say, you know what? Let's bring it back home to New York. And that's exactly what we did. We brought it right back to New York, to home base, and we beat them right here, right at that spot. And I'm so proud that our team expanded, the workers that are organizing expanded, and now we got to a point where the workers are now organizing themselves. And it's not just here in Amazon. We got emails from Walmart. We got emails from Target, Dollar General, from Apple, from Starbucks. We are going to take over the country. The workers are. The workers are going to fight back and take over the country. It's a worker-led movement, the labor movement now. And I'm telling you now, this is just the beginning. Stay tuned. Stay connected with us. We're going to need this support through and through, continuing from here on out. You know, the revolution, this is what you're witnessing right now. This is the revolution. This is the revolution. And I want to say thank you all again. Thank you, Bernie. Thank you, AOC. We have some workers here that want to address some issues, and I just believe the press is going to have questions for you guys. So I'm going to bring up Mitch and Maddie from LDJ5. They are the lead organizers right now.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out. We really appreciate all the community support behind us. I just want to give a shout out to the LGJ5 workers. Y'all are my heroes. We're going to win this. We won JFK 8. That was a group effort. JFK 8 and LGJ 5, we are not two separate buildings. We are one. All the issues are the same. Of course, there are differences between the building, but we need the union in JFK 8. We need the union in LGJ 5. We need the union in all Amazon warehouses all across the world, and every worker deserves a union. So thank you so much for coming out. Every worker who votes yes, you guys are my heroes. I love you all, and if you, of course, this is our moment to be part of something truly great. This is just the beginning. It started with JFK 8. LGJ 5 would be the first sort center in the U.S. to unionize. And we'd be the second in history in the United States to unionize, and we'd all be part of local number 1, the first Amazon Workers Union.
Let me get the press conference
I just want to, boost our rally later at 3. And, this is about the LGJ 5 workers today. So we're going to win this. We're going to win round number 2. And, this starts right here with us. LGJ 5 is just as important as JFK 8. So I want all of y'all LGJ 5 people to remember that.
Thank you. I'm gonna bring up Bernie. Bernie, you want to answer some questions to the press? We're gonna step back down.
Any question? Let me just reiterate one point. What this whole thing is about is working people standing up against the extraordinary level of greed that we are seeing in this country. I don't know how, when you are worth $170 billion, why you are spending money trying to break a union so that workers can have decent wages, decent working conditions, decent health care, decent housing. How much money does Bezos and the other billionaires need? So what we're seeing now, and you guys are helping to lead that effort, millions of people standing up saying enough is enough. All right, we're going to create an economy that works for working people, not just billionaires. Congratulations to all that you've done. Let's go forward together. Thank you. Yeah.
Does the administration need to be doing more to support unions?
Yes. To his credit, Biden has talked more about unions than any other president in my lifetime. But talk is not enough. What he has got to do is start inviting these guys to the White House. He's got to invite the Starbucks workers to the White House, the other unions that are organizing all over this country, and make it clear that he is on their side and that he is going to do what he can to support labor organizing throughout this country. Yes.
Why are we demanding that the IRS tax all the corporations doing business overseas when an individual who goes overseas and starts a business, they have to pay taxes on that business? Why don't we do that with the corporations?
Okay.
We gotta nip them underneath.
Well, look, all of you, it deals with the stupidity and regressivity of our current tax system. And I just want to give you an example of something, just to pick up on that point. 1 minute. And that is, this is how absurd the system is. In a given year, not every year, but in a given year, Jeff Bezos, one of the wealthiest people in this country, did not pay a nickel in federal income tax. Can you believe it? You paid more than Bezos paid. In a given year, Amazon, that makes billions in profits, did not pay a nickel in federal taxes. So we need a progressive tax system that says to large corporations and wealthy individuals, you know what? You're going to start paying your fair share of taxes. And I want to tell you something else, because it's coming up this week in the Senate. Bezos not only owns Amazon, he owns Blue Origin, as you know, the space company. He wants to get a $10 billion bailout from taxpayers for his space company. That's what I say. All right. Very important. Look, well, to get it passed, we need at least 50 Democrats who are going to stand up with the working class of this country. We don't have it. We have a couple of people who are busy sabotaging a working class agenda. But at the end of the day, yeah, believe me. All right, but at the end of the day, we cannot continue a situation. Alexandria and I were at a meeting with Chris and some of your organizers here, and we heard about these anti-union meetings. We heard about the intimidations. We heard about the threats. That is illegal, unacceptable. And we're going to deal with that as well. So we need strong labor law, which at the end of the day says that if 50% of workers in a unit plus one vote for a union, you know what? They got a union, and the company's going to have to negotiate that contract in a reasonable period. All right, listen, guys, the world is watching you. You're doing a fantastic job, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you.
We're going to bring the senator over to meet some workers. We'll be back after that. So just stand by. Thank you all.
Hey, folks. So that was obviously Bernie and AOC. Let me give you a little behind the scenes of what was going on here. Normally, kind of like when you're covering campaigns or big events, they have like a little stage in the back for press to stand on. This didn't have that, so you had a lot of photographers. You know, they got to do a good job too, but kind of forgetting that people.
One specific asshole.
Yeah, one specific asshole. Yeah, one specific asshole who was blocking everyone. So hopefully, you heard Bernie and AOC speak. And by the way, I saw a lot of criticism in the chat, this and that. Hey, if people want to hate, that's your prerogative. But at the end of the day, the election's tomorrow here. Okay?
Is it hating or is it?
Well, people
feeling the way that it took all this for you to show up. I don't know if that's hating.
Well, no, people were kind of hating like on AOC. This and that.
That's what I'm saying. Is it really hate though, or is it that they disappointed because of what?
Oh no, some of the comments were straight.
It took for big ass publicity for them to win for her to even come up and show up.
Oh no, some of the comments were like, literally, I hate her. So that's why I'm saying. I'm not here to defend AOC. My point is, if our focus is on winning these elections, there is objectively no dispute that Bernie and AOC showing up today helps them win this election. So whether they showed up late or not, which they did, and I certainly criticized AOC quite a bit, to me, the focus should be on, all right, how do we win this second election? Because let me tell you something. If these workers go 2 for 2, and I'm going to be interviewing some of the workers, so don't go anywhere. If these workers go 2 for 2, the train has left the station at that point. And then you're going to start seeing, now they have over 100 warehouses have reached out wanting to organize. If they win this second one, I would double and triple that. But if they lose this second one, then the $1 million propaganda and PR from Amazon and their allies in the media, just don't get it twisted. Most of these media folks were nowhere to be found for the last year. We were out here over the last year as the only ones on the ground constantly. But the media will say, hey, that first one, a fluke. Yeah, they did a good job organizing and winning that one, but you see, when it's a smaller warehouse, they don't want it. And these other warehouses around the country aren't going to want it. And then Amazon is going to swoop in again with their media allies, and they're going to prop up their bogus accusations that, oh, it was actually the Amazon labor union threatened the workers to vote yes in that warehouse and all that, which they obviously did not. So it's very important that they win. The election's going to be for a few days, not just one day. And I think it helps that Bernie and AOC were here because, like I said, there's a lot of younger workers in that warehouse that are not like political diehards per se, but they certainly know who AOC is. They know who Bernie is. So it's important that they were out here. Just so you know, behind there, Bernie and AOC are talking to workers. I don't really feel the need to rush over there to just get a photo op. But other workers are going to be speaking. There's also a rally later today at 3:30 Eastern time where Shama Sawant is going to be speaking. Sarah Nelson, president of the Flight Attendants Union. I think the Teamsters are going to be there, and workers obviously speaking. So that's at 3:30 Eastern. They probably did this one earlier because Bernie's actually going down to Richmond, Virginia later in the day to meet with Starbucks workers trying to unionize. So I guess his schedule, he had to do it this morning here. But a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of momentum. So it's all good. It's all good. Let me see some comments before we wrap up. Oh, by the way, thank you for the super chats. I can't read them all because a lot of them came, but thank you. Support us if you can as a Status Coup member. StatusCoup.com/join. You can become a member for $5 to $10 a month. Obviously, on the ground reporting isn't cheap. I got my fellow there, Ty, behind the camera. You know Ty. He's not cheap. Here we go.
I'm real cheap compared to I'm cheap to you for sure.
Well,
I think everything was great.
No, give people a little behind the scenes of what grappling with that was like.
Oh, you talking about just with the guy? He was just rude. I almost went to jail. I mean, if fighting wasn't assault, I would have broken. He was an old guy too. It wasn't like I wouldn't have got no points for it. But he was really like trying to bully this one girl. Just kept getting in front of her, pushing her out the way. It was real aggressive, and I just wanted to. Since today is Sunday, I wanted to do some laying of the hands like the preacher does, on Sundays. That's what I wanted to do to him. But anyway, I felt that it was a good turnout. I feel a way about AOC too. I feel like now that the light's on, now that it has everyone's attention, you coming. Come on now, what part of the game is that? When you campaign on being there first, being on the ground. You know what I mean? That make everybody feel a way. So if y'all hating on her, I understand completely. She needs to be hated on. Hate is pressure. You know what I'm saying? You can't just put them in office and then they feel like they can do what they want to do because they didn't got in the in crowd and now they buddy with people and now they turn all the way down when they was turned up before they got elected saying what they gonna do. They don't care X, Y, Z, and now they turned all the way down because they kicking and they comfortable. So you got to keep the pressure on them. But outside of that, glad to be here.
Well, I also think whatever their reason for coming out here, even if it's Johnny come lately, we want, if we're going to shame politicians, for them to respond.
No, I think you're right. I agree with you. I think they should be out here. I think it's going to help. But at the same, just because you show up and it's good doesn't mean that you can't be held accountable for what you did. And if us holding you accountable make you so offended that you now not going to show up, then it was all fake anyway. You know what I'm saying? You come up in here, you take your whooping like you're supposed to take it and make sure you don't do it again. That's all. Nice
jacket. Hey, come on over here. By the way, there's been a lot of support at these rallies from fellow union members. Come on.
Hello.
What's your name?
My name is John.
John. So talk to me about Bernie, AOC here. Obviously, day before the election, it's helpful. What stood out to you about what they said?
National support for unions needs to be pushed, like Bernie mentioned. Folks like the ALU people, like the Starbucks workers, they all need to be invited to the White House. There just needs to be a little bit more action on behalf of the administration. I think that it's great that they came out, and there was a bit of friction between AOC, Twitter nonsense between AOC and ALU about maybe she isn't showing enough support. So I think it was great for her to come out and put her name on it, so to speak.
Well, to me, I criticized her quite a bit.
Yeah.
She deserved it because she not only flaked on them, but she then went dark on them. But at the end of the day, if we shame Nancy Pelosi, she ain't showing up.
Yeah,
if we shame Mitch McConnell, he don't care. So I'm happy if politicians are going to be shamed that they come. Christian Smalls publicly called her out, and she came. So, it doesn't mean, hey, send her a bouquet of flowers, but credit where credit is due. Let me ask you, because you're not speaking for the Civil Service Employees Union, but you've been a union guy for a while.
Yes.
What is it like seeing this kind of all of a sudden? It's not all of a sudden, but you got lightning fire, Starbucks, Amazon. We've seen the strikes, John Deere, Nabisco, Frito-Lay, on and on. Unions have been in the wilderness for decades.
Yeah.
What's it like seeing this momentum?
It's empowering because currently I know that myself and my local are out of a contract. So we're basically, it's going to embolden other unions. Sorry about that. Other people to take it seriously. People power is a real thing. Organizing is a real thing, and we know that. And I think it's a good thing.
And last question, Bernie kind of, sort of called out Biden. He's like, no, it needs to do more. Yeah. That's about as far as he's going to go. But frankly, I wanted to ask him, but I couldn't get into the question. You got Nancy Pelosi, owns millions of dollars in Amazon stock. Yeah. Other Democrats, Republicans certainly, on Apple, Amazon, Facebook. No wonder half of them haven't even come out to congratulate.
Right.
What does it say to you that we live in the United Corporations of America? Yeah. And these politicians are legally doing insider trading.
Yeah.
And do you think their investment portfolio might have something to do with them not showing any support?
Absolutely. Something's got to give there. It's like a tremendous. I guess for them it would be a conflict of interest for their business interests, and that's a shame because they're supposed to represent the people, not the corporations. But it's layers deep, and it's got to change.
What's your name?
I'm John.
Hey, thanks, John.
Yeah, thank you.
So that was John with the Civil Service Union. I'm waiting for some of the union organizers, but they're talking to Bernie right now, so that's okay. Oh, hey, you want to talk? Okay, he's all right. There you go. You got me excited. Hold on. So, by the way, I'll just tell you, because this is probably like the 8th or 9th event I've covered, and a lot of press conferences I covered. This was the most media I've ever seen. At one of these. So again, it does help when Bernie and AOC are out here, because then, again, the day before the election, you're going to see them speaking on Eyewitness News in New York, which is a huge channel. NBC in New York, CBS. I got news for you. They probably wouldn't have been out here if not for Bernie and AOC. CNN was out here. So, hey, obviously we know their motives. They want just kind of like a 30, 45-second little news package with Bernie and AOC speaking. But it does matter because it gets to more people in New York. And Staten Island, by the way, where we are, it is no like leftist paradise. It's pretty Republican, pretty MAGA. So the fact that they're doing this in Staten Island is pretty impressive. So, all right, I'm going to sign off live. I don't want to announce it yet, but you'll be able to see some of our interviews with Amazon workers that we're going to record, not live. You'll be able to see it on a bigger channel. So I don't want to announce that yet, but going forward, quite a bit of our on-the-ground reporting is going to be exclusive on a bigger channel, which is going to get a lot more eyeballs to Status Coup. So I'm excited about that. You'll find out who that bigger channel is this week. By the way, speaking of supporting Status Coup, we ain't slowing down. Tomorrow, we'll be live around 6 o'clock Eastern. Stephen Donziger, the human rights attorney that has been wrongfully imprisoned, both under house arrest and actual prison after 2.5 years. Tomorrow he is free. He will be free out of house arrest unless they fuck him over suddenly, which I hope not. So there will be a celebration for Donziger. Tomorrow we'll be live from that at 6 o'clock Eastern. And then we're hitting the road next weekend. We're going to go to Cleveland to cover Nina Turner's congressional election, which is on May 3rd. I know there's a lot of Debbie Downers out there about electoral politics. They say if they're running as a Democrat, fuck them. Hey, you do you, but I'm going to go cover it because I believe it's important to cover the fight. She only lost by 4,000 votes last time in the dead of summer in Cleveland during a special election that most people didn't even know was going on. She had, towards the end, millions of dollars against her. I was there. There were billboards everywhere you could look in Cleveland. There were TV ads nonstop, basically calling her an anti-Semite, this, that, the other thing, saying she didn't support Medicare for all, she didn't support a higher minimum wage, all this bullshit. So we'll be there. I think her campaign this time has a real chance. They're focusing a lot more on knocking on doors and canvassing. They're focusing a lot more on college students and immigrants. And also the district is different now. So the district that she lost in now has Lakewood, which is a community in Cleveland that Bernie won in 2016 and 2020. It also has more college students because in August, college students were not in college. And also it has more immigrants. So I think, I don't want to predict it, but I think she has a better chance. Chantel Brown is still getting a shit ton of money from Democratic majority for Israel. I didn't know, Cleveland was such a big deal for peace in the Middle East. But anyway, we'll be there a couple days before the election on May 3rd. We need your support. This stuff isn't cheap. We don't take any money from the big bankers, the fossil fuckers, big pharma, big real estate, Silicon Valley, the military-industrial complex. Our funding comes from you. And I know there's a lot of folks out there asking you for money, and that's fine. They're sitting in a studio the majority of the time. God bless them. We're out there. Flights, hotels, rent-a-car, food, gas, let me tell you. And Colin, our producer, he just told me he's got to go to Best Buy and get a very expensive piece for our Cleveland trip. So if you can, support us, statuscoup.com/join. You can become a member for $5 to $10 a month. $5 a month is 16 cents a day. So skip like a burnt coffee from Starbucks. Support us. And if you can't support us financially, that's cool. Sign up for our text list. That's statuscoup.com/text. That way you'll get a text message when we're live, because trust me, YouTube, if you're lucky, they'll notify you 30% of the time when we're live. So that's statuscoup.com/text. Thanks for watching. Again, we'll be live tomorrow night at 6 o'clock Eastern from the Donziger celebration, then in Cleveland next weekend. And we'll have some of the interviews we're doing here. You'll see them tomorrow or Tuesday on a bigger channel. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Jordan, you don't know me, but you know my